Hey, what's up everyone? Tyler here with Secure Team. Today I want to talk about something that's been brought up to me in the past, is continually being brought up, and we haven't really done many videos about this topic. So I have heard all of you loud and clear, and of course the topic I am talking about is the UFO phenomenon as it relates and links directly to our world's oceans. And the fact that nearly 95% of Earth's oceans are unexplored, completely unknown and unexplored, and that a large majority of the UFO sightings are happening near or around these large bodies of water. So today we're going to talk about a new story that has just come out regarding a unidentified low-frequency hum that has been detected in the ocean's, quote, twilight zone. However, if you'll bear with me, we will also dive, no pun intended, into the secrets that lurk in our ocean depths, and the fact that there may be alien forms of intelligent life that occupy the vast volumes of water that constitute our oceans, seas, and lakes. The largest of our oceans, the Pacific, covers 64 million square miles and reaches a depth of 36,198 feet, a depth that no ray of sunlight ever reaches. And as I stated before, underwater UFOs have been sighted on many occasions, lifting out of their submerged depths and taking off into the air. In an article entitled UFOs at 450 Fathoms, UFO reporter Ed Hyde told of this sighting made by Dr. R.J. Valia, a Brazilian scientist who saw a UFO smash through an estimated 40 feet of ice at the South Pole and roar into the sky at an amazing speed. And it was an author and researcher by the name of Dr. Ivan T. Sanderson who suggested that aliens could remain undetected by building their bases beneath the world's oceans. Dr. Sanderson found that by actual count, over 50% of the UFO sightings had occurred over, coming from, or plunging into or coming out of water. This includes oceans, seas, lakes, and reservoirs. Of the oceanic UFOs, and some term them USOs, or unidentified submersible objects, one was tracked by the U.S. Navy near Puerto Rico in 1963. Of course, many of these objects have been tracked over Puerto Rico since that time. On a training maneuver, a sonar operator detected a subaqueous object traveling at over 150 knots. The technicians tracked this object for 4 days, and it maneuvered down to an incredible depth of 27,000 feet. And for those of you who don't know, submarines in 1963 could not dive further than a fraction over a mile into the ocean deep. So what kind of submersible could withstand that tremendous ocean pressure? And how could it overcome the tremendous resistance of water moving at such an incredible speed as 150 knots? We will get into that question, but first, back to the story of this very odd, unidentified low-frequency hum that has been detected in the ocean's twilight zone. So, a group of researchers have recently stumbled across this unusual buzz, emerging only at dusk and dawn within the dark reaches of the ocean. As they will suggest when their research is presented at the annual Ocean Science meeting in New Orleans this week, this noise could be the, quote, dinner bell for a huge collection of creatures moving up and down the water column in order to feed in mass. However, this is just a theory, and the hum is, at this point, unidentified. They captured it using highly sensitive listening equipment that the team used to pick up this low-frequency hum at a sea depth of around 200 to 1,000 meters, or about 3,300 feet. No single type of marine creature could be matched to the noise. So remember that, which was a mere 3 to 6 decibels above the background noise of the ocean. And it's not really a loud sound. It sounds like a buzzing or a humming, and it goes on for about an hour or two depending on the day, and it's coming from the mesopelagic zone, which is a dark world with limited food sources for many larger types of marine animal. Unlike surface waters, the light levels are insufficient for photosynthesis, so the general types of life forms found there are either herbivores or scavengers, feeding on the remnants of organisms or descending fecal matter. So what they're trying to find out is what type of mysterious creature or creatures or object could be making this low frequency noise. because it's not just a mostly dead region of the ocean. A 2015 study estimated that up to 90% of the world's fish may reside in this aquatic twilight zone, the zone that we've never explored before. These are depths that are so deep that it's almost impossible to explore even with today's technology. And this enigmatic sound is just the latest in a series of mysterious ocean noises that scientists are currently mulling over, most of which remain unexplained. So we have this question about the ocean, and the more I'm thinking about it, the more I agree with the fact that space, although one aspect of the UFO phenomenon and one of the places that these unidentified objects come from, we also have 95% of our oceans that are unexplored. And we have these UFO sightings, in which these large discs have been seen busting out of the water and shooting off into space, or vice versa. We have had ships mysteriously disappear. You've all heard of the Bermuda Triangle, I'm sure. In 1968, there were 4 submarine disappearances that were never explained. And because of how deep the oceans were where these submarines disappeared, their remains have never been able to have been recovered, and likely never will. So they don't even know where the submarines went. Then we had the case of the so-called cannibal shark in Australia, in which basically scientists had recovered a tag, an electronic tag, that they had placed on a giant 9-foot-long great white shark. And this is the great white. This is the lion of the ocean. There's nothing that tops the great white shark. It is a man-eater, and it is a beast. It's a killer. And so they put a tag on this shark, and then later on they found the tag, and the shark was missing. And they discovered something extremely mysterious and unsettling. The shark had been swimming near the surface of the oceans when it suddenly and out of nowhere dove to a depth of almost 2,000 feet, and fast. The temperature on the tag going from 46 degrees Fahrenheit to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And the only way the temperature could change that swiftly is if the shark had been eaten by something larger or taken in by something that had a higher temperature. And the best thing that the researchers or the mainstream media was able to come up with was that, oh, well, maybe it was another shark. So another shark ate this 9-foot-long great white and dragged it at an extremely high rate of speed to a depth of 2,000 feet within minutes. And by the way, there is nothing left of this shark. They found only the tag. So this shark was very quickly dragged to the depths of the ocean and disappeared. And they still have no idea what was behind it, other than their theory that it may have been a 2-ton colossal cannibal great white shark that did it. Then we have the numerous disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, in which major tragedies and disappearances began in 1918 when the U.S. Navy ship the USS Cyclops disappeared in the stretch over the Atlantic Ocean. And further down the line in 1945, 5 Navy bombers got lost flying over the region, with compasses failing to work, eventually losing fuel and landing at sea, and were never seen again. And now the latest, one of many scientific theories, is that gas hydrates created sinkholes near the region. And really, that's just their best guess this year. There's no telling what their guess or cover story will be next year. Then, and you may remember, we did a video last year after a pilot caught these baffling mystery lights while flying over the Pacific Ocean. An image from that video you're seeing here, and we will put the link to that video down in the video description. A pilot was flying over the Pacific and caught these mysterious lights of different colors. We had reds, oranges, greens, and yellows by the thousands, all grouped together in this small area in the Pacific. And he took multiple pictures, multiple angles, and even after passing over the area, you could still see these lights for miles, as you're seeing in this image here. And it is still unknown today what these lights came from or what they were. Finally, we go on to one of the most well-documented stories about these underwater UFOs and crafts. I'm talking structures, I'm talking crafts, flying saucers, and disc-shaped crafts that actually attacked a Navy fleet near Antarctica. And for those of you who don't know, I am talking about the story of Operation High Jump and Admiral Richard E. Byrd in 1947, who led 4,000 military troops from the US, Britain, and Australia in an invasion of Antarctica called Operation High Jump, and at least one follow-up expedition. And that is a fact. You can look it up, it's undeniable, but the part of the story that is seldom told, at least in official circles, is that the Admiral and his forces encountered a heavy resistance of flying saucers in their Antarctic venture and had to call off the invasion. So Operation High Jump was basically an invasion of the Antarctic, which consisted of 3 naval battle groups which departed from Norfolk, Virginia on December 2nd, 1946. They were led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd's command ship, the icebreaker Northwind, and consisted of the catapult ship Pine Island and the destroyer Brownson, the aircraft carrier Philippine Sea, and a U.S. submarine and 2 other support vessels, not to mention 2 tankers and a float plane ship. So these guys rolled into Antarctica deep. Whether it was with manpower or ships, they were rolling in deep, they had plenty of firepower, plenty of planes, and they were basically attacked by flying saucers that bursted up out of the cold Arctic waters, attacking the ships, attacking the planes. Planes were sent up to fight the objects. The planes were no match for the speed of the flying saucers, and the Admiral lost over half of his men and had to retreat. And so later on March 5th, 1947, in the El Mercurio newspaper of Santiago, Chile, Admiral Byrd was quoted as saying that it was, quote, imperative for the United States to initiate immediate defense measures against hostile regions. Furthermore, Byrd stated that he didn't want to frighten anyone unduly, but that it was a bitter reality that in case of a new war, the U.S. would be attacked by flying objects which could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. And these were not isolated remarks. Admiral Byrd later repeated each of these points of view, resulting from what he described as his personal knowledge, gathered both at the North and South Poles, before a news conference held for the International News Service. Admiral Byrd was hospitalized and died shortly thereafter in 1957, and many have suggested that he was murdered because of what he saw and for what he revealed. So, the bottom line here is that we don't really know what's happening on our own planet, let alone space. We recently covered the Baltic Sea anomaly, which is this large circular-looking ship or object that was caught at the bottom of the ocean, and it had some very interesting surface features and characteristics. We still don't know what it is. And so we have these lights, and we have these sightings, and we have these disappearances. We have these glowing objects. We have these sightings of saucers and other objects blowing out of the water and into space and vice versa. We have these millions of square miles of uncharted ocean that we have no idea what's down there. We have giant man-eating sharks that are disappearing, being dragged down to the depths with which we have never even gone ourselves. And we have decorated military men who have come out and told us point blank that there is a major threat to not just only our country but to Earth from a possibly hostile, although that's not confirmed, but nonetheless a group of flying objects that are currently residing underneath our oceans and have been seen traversing our north and south poles, as well as exiting our atmosphere, heading towards interstellar space. So you be the judge. It's a very interesting topic, and we will do more videos on the topic in future. So be sure to share, like, and subscribe if you like the work we do. I appreciate all your guys' comments, your concerns, your emails, your footage. This is a topic that's very close to our hearts, and we will get to the bottom of it. You guys have probably all seen that at the beginning of every video where we have the title displayed, and at the end of it, you'll see the text flash reading, "Disclosure is coming." And we have always screamed to the top of our lungs that we wanted our government to usher in disclosure and to give the people the truth. However, I now believe that this disclosure is going to be left only up to us and other researchers in the field. So that's what we're here doing, that's what we're working toward, and all else be damned, we're gonna get there, little by little. So stick with us here, we'll stick with you guys, we'll keep on fighting the good fight and rocking and rolling. So stick around, we've got a lot more to come, and as always, stay safe.